Hey everyone. Have you ever noticed that the most respected people aren't the ones who talk the most, but rather those who know exactly when to speak, and more importantly, when to stay silent? The world is full of voices desperately seeking attention, but true power lies in those who don't give everything away so easily, those who speak less, listen more, those who keep to themselves, protect themselves, those who are discreet, remain unpredictable. If you feel like your opinions are often ignored, that your presence doesn't command respect, or that people don't take you seriously, the problem might not be what you're saying, but how much you're saying. Today, you'll discover why being quiet and reserved are powerful weapons, and how the Stoics use these 9 secret lessons to gain respect, authority, and strength. If you want to change the way people see you, you need to learn this now, because once you understand the power of silence and restraint, you'll never be perceived the same way again, and more importantly, you'll never be treated the same way again. Before we start, if you want more insights like these, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Now, let's get into it. Lesson 1. How being reserved increases your authority. We live in an era where everyone wants to be heard. Social media, constant exposure. People share every detail of their lives, believing that the more they talk, the more they'll be valued. But the truth is quite the opposite. Those who talk too much become predictable, lose authority, and are often not taken seriously. Reserved people, on the other hand, are seen as more trustworthy and wise. They don't waste words, they don't reveal everything about themselves, and that creates curiosity and respect. Have you ever noticed how the most influential people in the world don't go around sharing everything they think? They carefully choose what to reveal, and this selectiveness makes them seem wiser. Talking too much makes you contradict yourself easily, invites unnecessary judgment, and often makes you come across as superficial. Meanwhile, those who are reserved exude confidence because they speak only when they truly have something valuable to say. Mystery commands respect. Humans naturally value what is scarce. When you overexpose yourself, people feel like they already know everything about you and they lose interest. But when you maintain a certain level of mystery, you spark curiosity. And with that, you earn more respect. Scarcity increases value. Think about a rare gem. Its worth comes from the fact that it isn't available everywhere. Words work the same way. Those who speak little but with precision make every word count. If you're always talking, your voice becomes background noise. But if you only speak when necessary, people listen attentively when you do. Silence builds anticipation. When you don't rush to give your opinion all the time, people start paying closer attention when you finally decide to speak. Your words gain weight. Leaders and wise individuals don't waste words. They speak little, but every sentence carries depth and impact. On the other hand, overexposure can weaken your influence and even lead to a loss of respect. Many believe that sharing everything about themselves will make them more accepted, but in reality, the opposite happens. The more predictable you are, the less respect you command. If people already know exactly how you think, feel, and react, you lose the element of mystery, and with it, your authority. Overexposing yourself also makes you easier to manipulate. When you reveal too much, others know exactly how to get to you, what triggers you, and how to influence your decisions. Meanwhile, a reserved person remains an enigma, making it much harder to be manipulated. Excessive familiarity can also break respect. Many relationships lose admiration because one person becomes too available. When you share too much, you risk losing that aura of mystery and respect that makes your presence impactful. The world values what isn't available to just anyone. Being reserved doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means having control over your presence. It means not exposing yourself carelessly, not handing over your value to just anyone, and not wasting your voice. If you want to be taken seriously, to gain respect and authority, start now. Speak less, Observe more. Learn to use silence as a tool. The world doesn't respect those who over-explain themselves. It respects those who radiate power without having to prove anything. So do you want to be taken seriously? Or will you remain just another person who talks, but no one listens to? The choice is yours. If you believe in this, write in the comments, "My silence is my strength." Lesson 2. Command respect with few words. Earning respect with few words isn't just a communication skill. It's a refined art, mastered by those who understand that true power lies in quality, not quantity when speaking. Imagine a tense situation where words are thrown like stones, each one escalating the conflict. Now picture someone who simply responds with a firm yes or no. Instantly, the energy shifts. The strength of those words doesn't come from how many are spoken, but from the weight they carry. Whenever you speak, ask yourself, what does this word carry? Because what you say is a reflection of your mind, your confidence, and your inner peace. When you express yourself with conviction, without fear or insecurity, your words resonate far beyond the act of speaking itself. And this is where the true power of using fewer words comes in: intention. Every sentence, no matter how short, is an extension of who you are and what you represent. True authority doesn't need to shout. It speaks softly but with certainty. And that quiet confidence demands respect automatically. Now let's talk about silence, the space between words. When you pause before reacting, that moment is not an absence of communication. It's a clear signal that what comes next matters. That silence says more than a long, rushed speech ever could. When you look someone in the eye with calmness, you're not just speaking with words. You're showing through your presence that you are in control. Your gaze is a reflection of your mind, and when it meets someone else's, it creates a connection beyond the physical. It touches the emotional and mental. Now, think about emotional control. In a world driven by urgency and agitation, true strength lies in the ability to pause before reacting. Anger, fear, frustration, these emotions are powerful, but only when you let them dictate your actions do they become a storm. By learning to breathe, step back, and think before you speak, you're not repressing your emotions, you're mastering them. Picture yourself in a difficult situation where other people's words and emotions are trying to throw you off balance. But you stay calm, you hold your ground, you know exactly when to speak and when to let silence speak for you. It's not about winning the conversation, it's about maintaining your peace in the midst of chaos. When you become someone who can walk through a storm without being shaken, you command respect simply by being present. And here's the real secret. People are drawn to that kind of composure. They instinctively recognize that someone who can control their words and emotions, who doesn't get lost in anger or meaningless talk, is someone who understands what truly matters. Lesson 3. Disappear. When everyone expects something from you. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But think about it. Have you ever noticed that when you're always available, always there for others, people start taking you for granted? You become less of a valuable presence and more of a convenience, someone they can use when needed and ignore when they don't. The result? A lack of respect. Now imagine yourself as a rare gem. Jewels aren't worn every day. They're cherished, protected, and seen as precious because they're rare. When you make yourself constantly available, there's nothing left to admire, no mystery, no curiosity. You become like an overplayed song, like a toy that loses its excitement because it's been used too much. No, I'm not talking about ghosting people or vanishing selfishly. I'm talking about stepping away with purpose. When you create distance, when you give space, you allow people to miss you. And that is key to earning respect and admiration. People begin to realize that you're not there to be used at their convenience, but that your presence is something to be earned. That's real value. Scarcity. Where are they? Why can't I rely on them like I used to? Did I take them for granted? That, my friends, is power. The power of being valued, the power of being respected. When you give yourself the luxury of stepping away, you're actually reconnecting with yourself. You are not an extension of others. You are not a shadow waiting to be summoned. You have your own life, your own projects, your own priorities. When you disappear strategically, you send a message to the world. I matter. I have my own space. I am not just here for your convenience. But this requires self-awareness and discipline. The hardest part? Knowing when to step away. How do you find the balance between being present and being absent? The answer lies in self-worth. When you understand that your value doesn't come from being constantly available, you realize that your presence should be appreciated, not exploited. Think about this. You have friends who only call you when they need something. They never check on you, never offer help in return. Your first instinct might be to keep giving, to keep showing up. But what happens? You create an unbalanced dynamic where you're always the giver and they're always the takers. But when you step back, those same friends will start asking, what happened? Why aren't they here anymore? Am I as important to them as they are to me? And that's when respect is restored. That's when people start seeing you for who you truly are. Someone with value, someone with their own needs, someone who deserves respect. More importantly, by stepping back, you create space for people to recognize your qualities. You stop being an on-demand resource and become someone with a presence that is felt, not taken for granted. That is the power of absence. It's not about running away. It's not about ignoring people. It's about teaching them that your presence has value. And when you return, you will be more impactful, more respected, more desired. You will be the kind of person who doesn't need to fight for attention, because your presence alone commands it. The lesson is clear. Don't give yourself away too easily. Don't let your presence be taken for granted. Be like a rare jewel. When you appear, let it be with brilliance. Strategic absence makes you more respected, more valuable. Disappear so that your return has impact. Disappear to be remembered, to be desired, to be respected. Now that you know how to apply this, try it for yourself and share your thoughts in the comments. Because starting now, these lessons are gold for commanding respect. Lesson 4. The power of silence and restraint. Silence holds a unique strength, one that few truly understand. In a world overflowing with noise and constant chatter, those who master the art of silence stand out with undeniable presence. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's a powerful tool of respect and mystery. Speaking less, but with precision, makes every word carry weight and meaning, and that's exactly what commands respect. The ability to stay silent when necessary and speak only when you have something truly important to say. The most respected people don't talk much, but when they do, they make an impact. That's because their words aren't diluted by excess. They understand that wisdom lies in carefully choosing what to express, making every interaction an opportunity to leave a deep impression. The scarcity of words creates a space where people naturally focus on what truly matters. Silence sends a strong message. I don't need to justify myself, and you should listen to me. Simply being economical with words makes your presence more noticeable, because every time you speak, people know it's worth hearing and worth reflecting on. Think of the greatest leaders and philosophers throughout history. They mastered silence and restraint as powerful weapons. These men weren't known for endless talking or wearing their emotions on their sleeves. On the contrary, they cultivated silence as a form of self-mastery and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, spent much of his life reflecting in his personal writings, meditations. He didn't react impulsively or emotionally. His introspection and silence in the face of challenges made him a figure of deep authority and respect. Epictetus, the former slave-turned-philosopher, taught that true strength comes from mastering oneself and one's responses to the world. He didn't use words to convince others, he used them to educate himself. His wisdom wasn't in empty speeches, but in the silent discipline behind his actions. Seneca, the advisor to Nero and one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, emphasized the importance of calm and reflection before any speech or action. His writings are filled with guidance on resisting the impulse to react impulsively. His presence, marked by self-restraint and quiet wisdom, is what made him an enduring example of respect and authority. These philosophers understood that silence and restraint aren't signs of weakness, but of control, reflection, and inner strength. They knew that true authority doesn't come from how much you say, but from the quality and impact of your words. By being reserved and mastering silence, you don't just build an aura of mystery, you demonstrate self-control, a trait that instantly earns respect. Silence is not the absence of communication, it's a way to communicate more powerfully. It's a tool of respect, a way to show that you listen more than you speak. And when you finally do speak, your words carry deeper meaning. True strength lies in knowing when to speak, and more importantly, when to remain silent. This not only earns the respect of others, but it also strengthens your own authority and presence in the world. Lesson 5. Don't waste your time explaining your life. Have you ever noticed how constantly justifying your decisions, explaining every move, every choice, drains your energy? This isn't about being transparent or about making people understand you. No, this is about something much deeper, respect. And the worst part? When you fall into the habit of explaining yourself, you're allowing your authority, strength, and value to be questioned. You're opening the door to being treated as someone who doesn't have a solid foundation for their actions. When you feel the need to constantly justify your choices, your life becomes a spectacle for others to judge. And trust me, that's not respect. If you have to explain every step, every move, every decision, you're sending the message that your life is an open exhibit, available to be judged, analyzed, and even manipulated. And let's be real, who actually respects something that's always at the mercy of public opinion? Think about it. Have you ever noticed how strong people, leaders, individuals who command respect, don't feel the need to justify every action? They don't waste time convincing others of their choices. They simply act, and their actions speak for themselves. When you spend your time and energy explaining why you did something, you are giving up your personal power. You're saying, my life is open to being questioned, analyzed, and debated. And that, my friends, is a clear sign of weakness. Respect doesn't come from explanations. It comes from confidence. When you stand firm in your decisions, when you know who you are and what you want, you don't need to explain anything. Your attitude, behavior, and the way you carry yourself already make it clear. You know exactly what you're doing. The need to constantly explain yourself. It's just insecurity in disguise. It's the fear of not being understood, not being accepted, not being respected. But let's be honest, who actually respects someone who is always on the defensive, always justifying their actions? When you put yourself in that position, you lower yourself. It's no longer about what you did or why you did it. It's about your inability to stand by your own choices. People start to realize that if you have to explain everything, it's because you don't have enough confidence to make decisions without seeking external validation. And with that lack of confidence comes a lack of respect. True authority comes from autonomy. When you know who you are and have the courage to act accordingly, people respect your strength, no matter what you decide to do. So don't waste your time explaining your life, your choices, your actions. Just do it. Act. Live by your principles. And those who truly respect you will respect your decisions without question. Ask yourself, why are you explaining? Are you seeking understanding, or are you just begging for approval? If it's approval, that's a clear sign that you're placing your confidence in the hands of others, waiting for them to validate who you are. But here's the truth. No one can do that for you. You alone are responsible for your own validation. Let people see your life for what it is, an expression of your choices, without the need for defense. Don't defend yourself. Don't justify yourself. True strength is living your truth without asking for permission or approval. This doesn't mean being cold or selfish. It means you know who you are, you know what you're doing, and most importantly, you know your life is not a public performance for others to critique. Stop giving yourself the luxury of explaining your life. The moment you stop justifying yourself, you'll start seeing yourself as someone worthy of respect. Because only those who truly respect themselves don't feel the need to explain themselves. If you're finding value in this message, share this video with someone who needs to hear it too. I truly hope this message has been valuable to you. I want to sincerely congratulate you for making it this far and finishing the video. That alone shows your real commitment to personal growth. If you enjoyed the content, leave a comment. If you're not sure what to write, just type "all the way, the wise Stoic," so I'll know you watched until the end. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button now, drop a like, and share this video with someone you know. Trust me, they'll thank you for it. I also encourage you to keep diving deeper into Stoic philosophy, to stay on this path of learning, and to keep growing stronger every day. See you in the next one.